Welcome back guys to the episode number 2 of Basic Principles of Chess. In the last video we learned 5 simple principles and I assured you that they are going to help you to play a better chess game online with your friends or anybody. So we are going to continue with the next 5 principles today. E4, controlling the center as we have already seen. Knight f3, developing the piece on a good square. Queen f6. Yes, principle number 6, queen should not be developed too early. Try to develop with the minor pieces first. Bishop c4, the bishop comes on a good diagonal. Queen g6, and now the queen attacks 2 pawns. Can you find them? Yes, g2 and e4 both are under attack, and this tactical pattern is called as double attack. So what to do now? White's minor pieces are out and you can see that king and the rook are connected. Fun it is that the king and the rook get to jump once in the lifetime. That takes us to the next principle of castle. Castle is important for 2 reasons. The first very important is the king safety. The king, as you can see here, becomes safe by getting such a solid pawn shield. You know, they are like the bodyguards. Already you are seeing the king is defending the g2 pawn after castling. The second important point is castle helps the rook to develop from the corner, and this is the fastest way to develop your rook. Hence castle is important for these 2 reasons. Black continued. He captured the pawn in the center and right now attacking the bishop. You see this bishop is undefended, but at the same time even the queen is unprotected. So white is a pawn down. Basically that means he has 1 pawn less, but instead he has developed his knight, rook, bishop and safeguarded his king, which is a very good thing. At this point, white to play, and it's a good move. Can you find it? Yes, bishop into f7, the right move. Because if king into f7, then there is a basic fork pattern with knight g5 and you see black loses his queen. Hence, black played king e7, and now going to the next principles related with the rooks. Rook e1. Rooks like when there are no pawns on the open file. In fact, that's the main role, to attack whatever is on the file, which usually is in the middle game phase, and always hoping for these breakthrough squares from where they can attack a lot of pawns and pieces. This usually happens in the endgame phase. So rook e1 here, queen moves, rook into e5 check, king d8. Can you find mate in 1 here? Rook e8 check, a very nice back rank mate. You can already see that this rook which was on h1 is now on e8 and it's a mate. It went to f1 first as a developing move, then e1, then captured on e5 and finally landed on this 8th rank. It's a very dream thing for a rook because it cannot get on the 8th rank so fast in the opening itself. Now I want to take you to the next principle, but let us come back to this position again. Now in chess, checks, captures and threats are extremely important to look at because those are the forcing moves. This principle please keep in mind because it is very important in any game. We'll see how it happens here. Bishop into f7. You can see capture and a check. King moves. This is a threat. Queen moves. This is again a capture and a check. And here we saw king d8 in the last game, but here we are going to see king into f7. What happens if the king captures? We are going to see this game of Greco, who is white here. d4, again a threat. Do not forget the sniper here. Queen f6. And whenever the king is exposed, especially you have to be careful that you do not miss considering a check. And that is how the knight jumps in with a check. Knight g5 check. King goes here, that's the only square the king can run to. Again a check, king goes here. And I want you to observe over here that this rook, the knight, the queen, the bishop, all these pieces are very active. Whereas look at this rook, knight, bishop, queen. So if you compare the value, they should be of equal value. But in this case, somehow you get a feeling that all white's pieces are way more stronger. And this is what you must remember, that an attacking piece is valued more than the defender. Hence, try to put your pieces on such squares where they are most effective. This is what Bobby Fischer was very good at. Immediately would try to bring his pieces to most active squares, I would say. King h5 here and g4 check. The king doesn't have many squares. He captures, or even if he would go here, the mate is the same. Queen h3, and that's going to be a mate. But I want to ask you one nice question here. What happens if after queen d3 check, the king directly goes to h6? There is mate in 1, and can you find this? Very well, knight f7 check, and you see there is a check here, but the queen cannot capture because there is another check here from the bishop, which is our sniper. In such scenarios, the only move is to move the king. Unfortunately, here the rook is controlling the squares, the queen is controlling, and rest of the squares are occupied. It's a very nice mate, which is by the tactical pattern called double check. This is how the game ended, and we have finished our 5 principles. So to summarize them, principle number 6, avoid early queen development as it allows threats from the opponent. Principle number 7, castle helps 2 things. One is king safety and second is fast rook development. Principle number 8, rooks are good on open files and they aim for 7th and 8th ranks. Principle number 9, the forcing calculation begins with checks, captures and threats. Principle number 10, place the pieces on effective squares. So with this, we end this video, and we are going to come back with more principles where you will be able to play a very nice chess game. I promise you that.